And hug the knees into the chest one more time. Back of the neck long. And take another really deep, full inhale without tension, allowing the upper back, the shoulders to stay relaxed into the mat. And with your exhale, begin to draw up the pelvic floor, the lower belly, and hug the knees in a little closer. Take the arms out to the sides, palms down or palms up to you. Inhale in the center, and then as you exhale, just let both knees float to the left. You can allow that right shoulder to come up a little bit. For me, my right hip is tight, so the knee floats in midair, that's fine. Inhale, come back to the center, and then as you exhale, take the knees to the right. And if you want to, you could just bring your left hand to your ribs if it feels like your arm's floating. And take a couple of breaths in the twist there. And then as you inhale, come back to the center, roll all the way onto your side. And come and sit in cross-legged. So I'm going to sit nice and high today. So sit up on your bricks, whatever props you have around. And see if you can find that sense of rooting through the sit bones into the earth and then getting a lightness in the spine as you sit tall. Yeah. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, turn and twist. Hand over the top of the thigh. Inhale through the center. And exhale to the other side. And just do 2 more each side. Inhale and exhale, twist. Don't rush, move when you're ready to inhale. Then come through the center and exhale fully before you move again. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, coming up to the center, sweeping the arms up. Just take hold of the right wrist, get longer from the right hip all the way to the fingertips, and then hinge over to the left, but keep rooting that right sit bone down into your bricks or whatever you're sitting on. Inhale through the center, change the wrists, or change the grasp. Root into your left hip bone. Pressing down so you get an opening through the side body. Good, just do that one more time each side. Inhaling, exhaling, rooting down and stretching. Move with your breath when you're ready, coming up. And exhale fully. Inhale through the center and bring the arms down, hands to rest on the thighs. So we'll do Sitali. Just to remind you of cooling breath, when you overheat, even if it's later on in the day or during your practice, then this is a really good way of cooling yourself down. If you can roll your tongue into a loop, what do I mean? A tube, roll your tongue. If you can do that, then that's really effective, but it doesn't matter if you can't. If you can't make a tunnel with your tongue, if you can't roll your tongue, then you just suck the air in through round lips and you'll feel the cool air rush over your tongue. So we inhale steadily and try and get that in for a count of 4 and then exhale through the nose. So closing the lips. So inhale. And then exhale through the nose. Good. And you can close your eyes, keep the shoulders relaxed. So whichever version you're doing. And really feel that cool air coming all the way down through the center of your body. Cooling the body as it calms the mind. Sitali Pranayama. Let's just do 3 more rounds without rushing the breath. It's a lovely one, this one. And exhale through the nose. A hot and bothered pranayama. Lovely. Come onto your hands and knees. Take bricks out of the way. And we're going to sit back. So you want quite a long space between your hands and your knees. And you walk the knees back a little bit so that we bow down in a sort of elongated child's pose. And you don't have to have your sit bones pressing into your heels for this one. Just make the hands nice and strong. So the hands can be quite wide here and spread the fingers wide. Good. And then as we inhale, you're going to stay low through the elbows. You can give yourself a chance to warm up. Slide forwards into cobra. And then your exhale takes you back to your starting point in a lifted child's pose. So the hands don't change. If that's a bit strong on your shoulders and your arms, then you can just lift the body through 4-point kneeling and then drop the hips and come into cobra that way. So it's up to you. You're going to build a little bit more strength through the upper body if you slide the nose, the chin, the chest along the floor and come into cobra. But otherwise, you can just take the hips high and forwards and come into cobra that way. Yeah. Be gentle on your back. I think a lot of us might have been doing some gardening, so let's loosen it up. Move with your breath again. There's no rush. Exhaling to take the sit bones back. Yeah. And just do a couple more, keeping the hands really strong, really rooted into the mat. Good. And with your next exhale, stay back into your child's position with the hips as far back as feels comfortable. And then you're just going to thread the right arm underneath, take the right shoulder towards the mat, turning your gaze to the left. And you can lift the left elbow towards the ceiling, draw the left shoulder blade into the back of the spine, and then take a breath into the twist. Root the left hand down to come up, reach the right arm forwards and thread the left underneath, take that to the other side. Yeah, nice full breath in the twist. And then reach the hips back. And if you want to, if your knees are happy, just start to walk the hands back towards your hips a little bit so that you can get deeper through child's pose. Let the head relax. And just like we did on our backs, inhale, feel the pressure of the belly against the thighs. And breathe into the back body. Feel the breath actually giving you more space. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back, bring the knees together, lift the hips and step the right foot forwards. Coming into a lunge, so any support underneath that back knee if you need it. And I forgot to mention, let's grab our bricks. So 2 bricks here. And then draw the right hip back a little bit, lengthening the tailbone so you're square through the pelvis. And as you draw the pelvis down at the back and tuck under a tiny bit, can you really feel that hip flexor stretch? Sweep the arms up. Take hold of the left wrist and hinge over to the right, keeping that tailbone long. And breathe here, a couple of breaths, keeping the shoulders relaxed, the face relaxed. Breathe into the side body and the hip flexor. Good. And then release to the center and start to take the sit bones back, and the hands can find the bricks. And you can wriggle that foot a little bit further forwards. If you lift the toes, it's going to give you a stronger stretch through the back of the leg, the hamstring. And then see, can you push into the bricks and lift the chest? So you've still got an openness through the chest. Nice. And take a couple of breaths here. Spread the toes wide. Then we're going to transition into gate pose. So take your bricks just wide and you start to turn to the left so that you can ground the right foot, and you can take it out to the side a little bit. Turn and face you. So you're pressing your right foot down into the floor, the toes pointing forwards. And again, can you lengthen the back of the body? So you feel as if you're between two panes of glass here. Sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, take the right hand to the right knee and reach over with the left. Good. And see if you can really feel that your belly button and your two collarbones are pointing forward. So you're not turning and twisting, not cheating. Good. And then if you want a little more, you could take your right hand to the left wrist and just encourage length. So you're not just yanking yourself over, you're lifting into a crescent shape. Keep rooting your right foot down, lengthening through the tailbone. And take another breath here. Inhale to the center, bring the hands to the hips. And here we bend the right knee and bring the knee to 90 degrees. And this time the toes are pointing forward. So we start to open up the groins. This always reminds me of pantomime somehow, this. I don't know what it is. Anyway, lengthen the tailbone. You're trying to keep the knee in line with the toes. And maybe we can lean on the thigh. So take it gently. This is strong on the groins. So your elbow might come right into the hip crease here, or if you want a little bit more, you can take the elbow further away and maybe even lunge a little deeper to that side. Good. Try to keep the belly facing the long edge of your mat. Good. So this is for the opening up the front of the hips. You want to keep lengthening the tailbone, so you're still feeling a stretch through the hip flexors as well, and then take the left arm over. Yeah. And take a couple of breaths here. Start to come up. Nice. And then we're going to take all of that to the other side. So start to bring the right knee down, step the left foot forwards. Good. And once again, lengthen through from the ribs, you're sort of flowing down to the sit bones, lengthening the flesh of the buttocks. And then draw the right hip, left hip back a little bit to square the pelvis and sweep the arms up, relaxing through the shoulders. Yeah, keep that sense of drawing down here so we get an openness through the front of your right hip. And then take hold of the right hand or the right wrist and hinge to the left. So if we let go of drawing the belly up and lengthening, you get a side stretch, but you don't get the opening through the hip flexors. So keep that dynamic engagement of drawing up pubic bone to navel, lengthening from the base of your ribs to the tailbone. And you get more out of it. Relax the shoulders, take a deeper breath. And then release to the center and find your bricks. And then as you just sit back through the hips a little bit, you can straighten that left leg and lift the toes. And then as you press into the bricks, broaden the collarbones. So the shoulder blades nestle back towards the back of the heart. You lift the gaze, lift the chest. Say hello to your hamstring. And almost feel as if you're scissoring the legs together. Nice. Spread the toes wide of that left foot. Firing up the muscles of the legs. And take another breath. And then as you take the bricks out of the way, begin to transition into gate pose. You just turn lengthways along the mat, line up the knee and your left foot, left toes pointing forwards. And again, can you draw up through the lower belly, the lower abdomen, and lengthen the tailbone as you really root that foot into the floor. Sweep the arms up. Lovely. And then take the left hand to the knee and reach over. And again, here it's really easy to cheat. We relax through the pelvis a little bit. The chest tilts forwards and we lose that opening through the groins. So lengthen the tailbone, draw the tummy muscles in, make it a bit more dynamic and shine out. And if you want a little bit more here, you can take hold of your right wrist and feel, rather than you're just pulling it across, you're lengthening it up towards the ceiling and then over. Breathe into the side body, keeping that dynamic movement of muscular energy in the pelvis. Good, and then release to the center. Start to bend your left knee and turn the left toes to the top of the mat. Good, and you can take your hands to your hips here. So the opening is coming here. You want this knee pressing out to the baby toe side. So you feel the opening through the hip flexor and the groin. Lengthen the tailbone again. You might be able to take the elbow to the thigh, but don't worry if that's a bit too much. So if you're tight in the groin, then you keep the elbow close to your body. If you want a little bit more opening, you can slide the elbow towards the knee, and then maybe you can lunge a little into that knee, and then take the right arm over. Good, steady breath. Still keeping that sense of drawing the lower abdomen up, lengthening the tailbone. Wonderful. And then push into that foot, sweep the arms up all the way to the front of your mat, turning onto the ball of your left foot and press into downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is an inversion. Your head is lower than your heart. And although it feels as if maybe the circulation, the blood's going to your head, it's a cooling and calming thing to have the head below the heart. So inversions in yoga, even a handstand, has got a calming effect on the nervous system. And downward facing dog and child cool the body as well. So grounding the hands into the floor. Take another really steady breath here. And then start to soften the knees and walk the hands back towards the feet until the heels ground. Keeping the knees bent, let the spine lengthen. So really relax the upper body, relax the arms, the head and the neck. And then keep the knees bent here. You don't want to yank too much on your hamstrings. And you could interlink or take hold of the elbows and even feel as if gravity is just lengthening the spine even more. And take another breath there. And then we're going to roll up to Tadasana. It's tricky to say. So start to draw the lower belly up, away from the floor, away from your thighs. Push into the feet, keeping the arms really loose, and begin to roll up. The last things to happen are the shoulder blades slide to the back of the body. And then finally the gaze comes forwards. Find Tadasana. Lovely. So we're going to do a very slow flow, get everything moving. So come to the front of your mat. When you're ready, inhale and lift the gaze, the fingertips. As you exhale, take the arms wide if you've got space and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to lengthen and lift the gaze forwards. Exhale, step back to plank and lower straight to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the knees, tuck the toes, lift the sit bones, downward facing dog. And stay in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, take the gaze forwards, step forwards, look forwards and lengthen. And as you exhale, you can soften the knees and fold. This time, instead of rolling up, you're going to float up. Take the arms wide, tone the belly, push into the feet and lift the gaze. And exhale, Tadasana. Good. Inhale, rise. And exhale, fold. Inhale, look forwards, lengthen. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog this time. Drop to the knees. And as you inhale, slide nose, chin, chest into cobra. Great. Tuck the toes, plank. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Steady breath in down dog. Let the body cool and calm as the breath steadies. And then when you're ready, inhaling, looking forward, step forwards, lengthen forwards, and then exhale to fold. And inhale, rise. Lovely. And exhale into Tadasana. We'll find our way once more into downward facing dog. So one more little flow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high, bend the knee and open up the groins to the side. And maybe look out underneath your right armpit. You can come onto the right fingertips if that feels good. Give yourself a bit more space. Yeah, and maybe even straighten that leg, opening up to the side. Nice, enjoy it. And then you're going to step that foot forwards. Drop the left knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up and start to twist towards the right. Good. Bring your right hand and you might be able to take hold of your left thigh, or for me that's brings me off center, it doesn't feel good. So I'm going to take my right hand onto my left buttock and start to lift the left fingertips to the ceiling. Yeah. My hand on my sacrum can start to help to tuck the tailbone under as you look up. So you've got a slight twist and back bend here. And then sweep the right arm to join the left. And this time take the left hand and bring it to the right buttock or the, and reach up. Good, sweep both arms up, bring the palms together and take it into a twist to the right. Left elbow over the right thigh. And here, lunge a little deeper through the knee. So the hips start to drop towards the floor. You get a bit more stretch through the groins. Keep the neck relaxed. Lovely, take another breath. And then release the hands to the floor. Lift the back knee and step back, downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale the left leg high, bend the knee and open up. So you're lifting that knee towards the ceiling as you open the groins to the left. And it might feel nice to straighten the knee. Don't worry, if not, keep it bent. You can try the fingertips of the left hand to really open up. And then when you're ready, step that foot forwards and drop the right knee. Sweep the arms up. Start to turn and twist to the left. And then this left hand can come maybe onto the back of the right thigh as you start to lift the right arm up to the ceiling. And your gaze can be to the side or up to the ceiling, but keep your neck chilled out. Nice. Sweep the left arm next to the right and then open out the other side. Right hand to the back of the sacrum. Good. And then we take it round into a twist. Right elbow over the left knee. Push that elbow into the thigh to lift the belly away from the thigh a little bit more. So you can twist a bit deeper. And take another breath. If you're feeling hot, try Sitali Pranayama. Draw the cool air over your tongue. And then sweep forwards. Arms up one last time. And then find your way back to downward facing dog. Come forwards into plank and lower to the floor. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders and turn the palms down. So you want a nice straight line from the elbow up to the shoulder, shoulder down to the elbow. And they want to be, underneath. So if we're too wide, we can't get the lift. If we're too narrow, you're not going to get space to open the chest. So bring the feet a little closer together and press all 10 toes down into the floor. As you push the tops of your feet into the floor, you feel the thigh muscles switch on, draw the sit bones together a little bit without being too grippy through the buttocks. And then as you push down into the whole of the forearm and the hands and begin to lift the chest, feel as if you're almost going to drag the elbows backwards so that the chest starts to draw between the arms. Keep the back of the neck long, keep pushing down, Sphinx pose. So everything is working here. Your legs are firm, the toes are pressing down, maybe your belly is drawing away from the mat. Great. Back of the neck stays long. And feel this really working in the upper back, lengthening the front of the body. And then release. And just take the forehead to the floor, keep the arms as they are, and lift the right foot towards the ceiling. So just bend the right knee. Then come up into Sphinx pose again. So pushing down into the forearms and the hands, as if you were going to touch the back of your skull to your heel. Good. Release that foot, release your head, try that to the other side. So you don't want to feel this in your low back. You're really drawing the belly away from the floor and lengthening through that right foot. The right leg, as you draw the left toes towards the floor and press up into Sphinx pose. Still got that sense of drawing the elbows back so the chest lengthens forwards. Good. And then release, bring the hands either side of the chest, press back onto your knees, tuck the toes, and lengthen the spine as you press up into downward facing dog. Good. Lovely. Good, and you could maybe do a little pelvic tilt in downward facing dog, lift the sit bones, arch the back a little bit, round the back a little bit, just ease that out before we come into bow pose. So we're going to drop to the knees, slide forwards, nose, chin, chest, all the way into cobra. And then bring the left arm along in front of you and reach back for your right foot. So here you can really circle that right foot back and maybe you can take hold of the inside. So we're just preparing for bow. Inside of your foot so that the shoulder's nice and open. And then turn the shoulder back to the front, the right hip bone presses into the mat, and then press your foot into your hand and feel that lift. Good. And then we'll swap. Bring the right arm across, bend the left knee, windmill that arm around so that you're opening up the chest, and maybe you can take hold of the inside of that foot. Don't worry if it's the outside, but we want to just get that sense of opening the shoulder. Now press the left hip back into the floor, squaring the body to the front, and push the foot into the hand. Take a breath. And then release and just rock the pelvis a little. So we're going to do bow. Dhanurasana. If you would prefer just to do that half one side at a time, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, we're going to bring the chest to the floor. We're lifting the shoulders, drawing the shoulder blades in as you bend the knees. and reach back for the feet. Now here you can take the outside of your feet, draw the knees together, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good. And then as you push the feet into the hands, you might feel the thighs lift, the chest lifts. Good, but we're still getting that sense, even though not much happens, of lengthening the tailbone, drawing the tummy muscles up like we did at the beginning. Great, push the hands into the feet and the feet into the hands. Good, see if you can steady the breath. Keep the back of the neck long. And take one more breath here. Well done. And then release. And just take the hands underneath the pelvis as you turn your cheek to the left. And you can make fists that just lift your pelvis slightly. And that gives your back a bit more space. Well done. And let's press the hands into the floor and stretch all the way back into child's pose. Your knees can be wide or they can be narrow. Bring the head to the floor. And again, breathe into the back of the body. And then let's come up downward facing dog. Step the left knee forwards and bring it to the floor. And then turn the right toes out and come back into gate pose. That's it. You might need a brick for this, you might not. Good. So can we get nicely aligned here? So we want the foot in line with the knee, as if you were between your two panes of glass. And again, we want to feel that you're lengthening from the base of the rib cage all the way down to the bottom of the sit bone. So you're lengthening the flesh of the back of your waist all the way down the buttocks as you draw the tummy muscles up. So pushing this right foot into the floor, you start to feel an openness through the groins. Take the arms wide this time. You're going to start to reach through your right fingertips and then see if you can bring the right fingertips to the floor. And then take the left fingertips to the ceiling. So you can here turn the toes out 45 degrees. So they don't have to stay turning to the front. And you can have your hand on a brick here. And then take that top arm up. If the shoulder doesn't like it, hand on the hip. Yeah, good. So still root your right foot into the floor, even if you start to turn the toes out. Can you feel that's an adductor stretch through the groins, the inner thigh? Yeah. Nice one. And the gaze can be where your neck is comfortable. So it can be down to the floor, or you can take the gaze to the top arm. It's up to you. Use a brick if that's a little bit tricky. And then we'll come back up into gate pose. Bring the hands to the hips, step the right in, step out with the left. And here again, yeah, you can turn the toes out. So with gate pose, the toes turn forwards, you can turn them out more to the corner of your mat. The rest of your alignment is the same. So we really want to be in line, the crown of the head in line with the shoulders, shoulders over the hips over the knees. So we don't really want to sit back here. Bring the arms out and then reaching through those left fingertips, begin to windmill those fingertips down to the floor. Great. And take the right arm up. So the cheat here is that your sit bones are going to want to drop back. So if you need a brick to come a little higher so that you can keep the sense of the pelvis tucking under, so you're still in line with the rest of the pelvis, and then you can take the arm up, it can come over, or you can have the hand on your hip. Nice. So I need to be much higher on this side. Lovely. Don't lose that pelvic alignment. Take one more breath. Well done. And then come up. Keep the legs as they are. Hands on the hips. And then you're going to bring this shin round and take the bottom down. Ta-da! So we come into Parivrtta Janushasana. Yes. So your right heel is in towards your groin. Make sure this knee is comfortable. So if it feels pinchy in the knee, just bring it out a little bit. And really, you want your sit bones on the floor if you can. So if that's difficult, just don't have this leg out so wide. Good. See if you can get a sense of grounding through both sit bones and then take the arms up. Start to turn towards your straight leg. So you're notionally trying to get the belly button to point towards your foot. And then bring the hands down where they drop. So here, it can be quite nice to have your right hand on the outside of that left leg. Yeah. And then start to try to fold over the leg by reaching the left hand forwards towards the ankle, the shin, wherever you lie. So the full pose is laying the belly along the thigh and holding onto your foot. But that's something that I don't think if I lived another 70 years, I'd get. So we've got a twist and a fold. Let the head release. And breathe steady and smooth. One more breath here. As we come up, let the left hand scoop up the knee and bring it in and straighten the other one out. And be mindful of any differences between one side and the other. So if you need to make an adjustment because one hip is tighter than the other, then do it so that you can get both hips grounded. So I need to be slightly narrower on this side, that's fine. To keep the sit bones nice and grounded, take the arms up, start to turn the belly towards the straight leg. You can take the left hand on the outside of that straight leg and then begin to reach the right hand towards wherever it falls. So for me, it's the shin, it might be your knee, it might be your toes. And then as you fold forwards, you can keep the hands as they are, or you can have both hands either side of the shin or the foot or the ankle. It's nice to have the hand over the leg because it keeps you in that twist. And let the head relax, let the shoulders relax. And still be aware of both of your sit bones grounding into the floor. So we have a stable foundation even in this seated position. And then begin to come up again, scoop that knee as you come in. And we'll just do a little hip opener. So as you come in, you can pop your hips on a blanket or something if you wish. So this right knee here is going to slide all the way over so that the knee is more in line with the hip and the ankle is more in line with the other hip. So it's a narrower stance. So then see if you can bring the left knee closer. So you're bringing the knees closer together as the feet get further away. That's it. Now you should feel a little bit more of a stretch in your hips. Can you feel that? Sit nice and tall. And to get more into your hips, see if you can take the fingers forwards of your shins. Yeah, now you should start to feel this in your hips. If you can, you might even be able to come further forwards, walking the fingers forwards, keep the sit bones rooting back and then bow. And this should be in your hips, your buttocks, the lateral hip. taking the knees narrower. And maybe here we could add in Sitali Pranayama, so curling the tongue or making an O with your lips. Suck the cool air over your tongue and see if you can follow it all the way in to the base of your spine. Seal the lips and exhale through the nose. Sitali Pranayama. Come up and change the cross of the legs. So this time the right one is going to be closer to your body and the left on the outside. And you're trying to walk the feet further away and the knees closer in. And it feels really awkward on the shins. Just don't worry too much about that. It's just because they're not accustomed to it. So narrow, you really are trying to get the knees in line with your hips. I can't quite do that, my hips are too tight. Yeah, and then as you take the fingertips to the floor and start to bow, the stretch comes through the outsides of your hips, the buttocks more. Again, find Sitali Pranayama. So you find as you either are sucking the air in as if you were drawing in through a straw, or if you've got your tongue curled, the inhale must be longer. And it's actually used in cognitive behavioral therapy, this breath, to calm panic. So it's a really good breath to use when you're feeling het up and you know that your breath has become shallow. Using this Sitali cooling breath, cool and calm the mind and the spirit. And then let's come up and find your way to Shavasana. If you would like to have Shavasana in Supta Baddha Konasana, then go ahead and do that. Terry, you got 1 minute in Shavasana before you've got to go. Then you can do that just to keep that sense of opening through the groins if this is a comfortable position for you and your back isn't gripping and the buttocks aren't gripping. But if you find that you're holding your legs in order to be in that position, then have them straight, but keep the feet nice and wide. And as you soften the breath, letting go of any effort there, feel the body softening and melting into the earth. Area in the back of your waist, your lumbar spine. Feel it soften and release, let go. Let's see if you can feel the air on your skin. Calm and cool. And when you're ready, start to breathe a little bit more deeply, maybe have a stretch. And make your way back up to seated. Have a wonderful day. With love and gratitude. Namaste. Bye. Rushing off to work, everyone's gone. Bye.
Thank you, Izzy. That was lovely. Bye.